Warning, proximity alert.
Hey guys, Quantum here again with some really interesting number patterns. Um, Whether or not these translate into factorization algorithms, I don't know, but it may have some insight into these numbers. So this is kind of like this spreadsheet is more like a square, call it a square curtain because it kind of falls. Uh, So the numbers up here, just, numbers that go from one, increments of one, and I multiply those by themselves and I get the square numbers. And if you remember the other chart we looked at, it's really these numbers here, but I've rotated them or slowly moved them so they go right across. And then the value is straight down here. But what I thought was kind of cool was if you take, for example, 21 by 21 or x by x, whatever number you're looking for, and then you do a mod of that same number on this square curtain. I don't know the real name for it. I just call it a curtain because it falls. Then you end up with a really neat pattern like this. Zeros obviously representing the places in which our factors. Um, these are somewhat irrelevant from here to here to here. Just because they do represent the squares and not necessarily the additional factors. So for 17, it's a prime, so you're not going to really see anything on either side of that crease. You take something like 21, wait for it to adjust. Should move over here. Then you see some interesting things here. So the numbers that are on either side of this, the mirroring, are the numbers that are where the numbers you're looking for. So all these zeros. But something I found sounded kind of confusing where these other numbers in here, what are they? You can't really tell from a two-dimensional view. So what I decided to do was create an app that shows these things in a three-dimensional view to see if you can gather some sort of information out of it to determine how these numbers are being created or being represented here, or why they're being represented. And I'm just going to play you that animation, and what you'll see is that these numbers, all these numbers, are actually, to me, they look like the angles. They're angles that are sort of turning. And here I'll show that to you. So here's the 3D version of that spreadsheet. So what you're looking at is a two-dimensional cube, but I got the x and y axis are the same, but the z-axis is really where I plotted using the mod result, or sorry, the result of each mod. And you can see the ones that are sitting on the bottom are the ones that are the factors of the particular number. And you notice that they always have this sort of self-similar pattern. I mean, if you watch the video to the end, you'll notice that certain numbers, this pattern seems to repeat and repeat. Certain things about the numbers end up having a certain pattern. Something else to sort of note is that, and sometimes you'll see it depending on the angle of the 3D model, like this one. You notice that, did you see all the angles that were being built there? Something you can't really see in a 2D model. But as they were being plotted within that cube, it looked like they were all moving in an angle, an angle that that slowly gets turned as it reaches the middle and then kind of starts over again. That is not obvious on the 2D version like this right here. See that? And eventually it gets over the 45, so it's opposite of the other side. I'm just gonna let you. Not gonna talk for the rest of the video. It's late. I'm tired. Hopefully, I'll have a chance to look at this again tomorrow. Maybe you guys can take a look at it. Let me know your thoughts. Something you've noticed. Other ways, perhaps, to analyze this in a 3D model. Anyways, thanks for watching.